Hello there, Alcon Raycon. Just imagine watching at Manchester United up against Arsenal and coming away 10 times happier than I was before. It has nothing to do with the result. It had to do with the performances of both of these teams in this match. We know that Manchester United was on the improve. They won 3 matches. They had the points. Arsenal was doing quite well. Certainly not as well as Manchester United was in the recent times. However, this game brought out a lot in both these teams. In the first instance, I have seen Arsenal before. I have never seen them with the kind of cohesive type of play, the type of organized play, the understanding of the value of defense and how do you do it? How do you get the ball back? How do you win the ball? How do you take opponents into bad positions for keeping the ball? And how do you build when you're attacking? It's lateral all the time. Every player on the sides of the park, midfield players working as hard as they come. And incidentally, they've got some fine midfielders. Young Saka is doing very well, and Thomas Partey is also doing very well. These players are workhorses. They're working extremely well. Unlike Manchester United in this game, who had Fred, and they had Fernandes, and they had Pogba. But they weren't all defending. They weren't all making the efforts to win the ball back. There was a lot of time in between the time they won the ball and the time they decided what they're going to do with it. And what did they do? They lost it because Arsenal was doubling up on a system of defense whereby as soon as the ball was lost, they went looking for it in an organized way, in a triangle whereby the ball could be won quite easily. And it went like this for the past 90 minutes of the game. It was a wonderful display. Sometimes you see 20 or 30 passes moving around and you think it's only responsibility. No, it's not. It is a question of penetration. They're searching for the passing lanes. They're doing the short diagonal runs and picking it up, and their forwards are going into very dangerous position behind the back of Maguire and Lingertoff. And all of these times, Manchester United is struggling until eventually it started to appear so much as though they couldn't win the ball in midfield. That brought Pogba inside of the penalty area to try and win the ball, and Fred as well, until a penalty was given. Arsenal scored a penalty, but that was not the only beauty. The beauty was the way they handled the ball. The beauty was the way when their goalkeeper was making choices in the first pass. But it was just an amazing football game, one which the fans would have loved. Okay, forget the fact that Manchester United was beaten and maybe their hearts, their supporters' hearts are a little bit swollen. But they can learn a lesson from this exercise as well. There's no doubt about it. There were lessons to be learned. These guys are not even well recognized as composed to some of the other Manchester United players. But they certainly understood what Mikel Arteta would have been telling them. And incidentally, Willian, that Brazilian, coming in from Chelsea into Arsenal and playing equally as well, if not better. He understood those players very well. They were moving, Aubameyang and Lazarette, moving into positions where he can find them. It was an afternoon of joy for football. I'm not against anybody. I would like to see Manchester United come to the group in the way that they came over the years. It's not happening. I don't know why. There's no consistency. Let's hope this is a lesson. At least they can learn from this. How do you win the ball after you've lost it? But it must be immediate. You don't wait and back off and wait to see what the opposition is going to do. So there is still a chance for Manchester United to have learned something from it. You can learn from other teams as well. And this is one of the situations where we've had this kind of position where Arsenal was winning by 1-0. Before I end, I'd like to share a thought with you. A good friend of mine and one of the world's most outstanding footballers, Sir Bobby Charlton, it has been reported today that he is very ill and he is suffering from one of the diseases, and I am saddened simply by this. I have worked with Sir Bobby for 8 years with FIFA at the football committee and the technical committee, a wonderful man, an easy person to talk to. He never told the world that he was one of the greatest players, but he was. But he certainly was an example to his former players, and Manchester United players, and everybody who played for his club. He always had an advice to give as well, and he was a great communicator with people on casual basis. I have been in his midst for a while at different times, as fast as we go to meetings and so on. He's visited Tobago for a few times, never promised that he would go to Trinidad, because he said the boats would only go Tobago back to London. I didn't believe him, but I told him the next time I'll come to Trinidad. Let's say a prayer for Sir Bobby. Actually, he was just born 6 days before me, and he has been looking as well as is possible. I've seen him on television recently. But let us give a prayer to him. He's a wonderful man. His wife is just a wonderful person as well. And he is a gift from God for the game of football. I hope that he is able to stay and watch and give the encouragement to Manchester United to be the team that they were when he played.